Hello, everyone. I am Miss Bernice Turner. I teach fifth grade here at Suburban Park, and today I wanted to share a book that I found that commemorates the wonderful Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We just celebrated his birthday yesterday, and I thought this book was quite appropriate. Okay? And the name of the book is called The Cart That Carried Martin by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Don Tate. And I thought this book was interesting. It really caught my attention because I thought that the cart that carried Dr. Martin Luther King was very significant. And it's a perspective of his funeral that we would never think of. So therefore, I wanted to share it with you and learn a few things of my own. Okay, we ready? Here we are. The cart that carried Martin. The cart was old. Its paint had faded. It was for sale outside Cook Antiques and Stuff. That was the name of the store. Nobody wanted it. Then two men came along. This is exactly what we're looking for, one said. We'll buy it. But the store was closed. They came by again. The store was still closed. We'll borrow it, the first man said. We can't do that, the other replied. We can. We'll bring it back when he's finished with it. A truck was brought to take away the cart. Friends painted it green. It's the color of grass when it rains, a woman said. He would like that, said a man. Wow. I guess they talk about Martin Luther King were like that because they knew him so well, and this would be a special cart for him. The car was moved again and parked at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. That was the church that he pastored at. Waiting, two mules were hitched to the cart. The mules' names were Belle and Ada. Ordinary mules for an ordinary funeral, the people told one another. That was what he wanted. The mule is a symbol of freedom, someone said. Each slave was promised a mule and 40 acres when he was freed. Crowds surrounded the church, waiting in the April morning for the service to begin. Many could not get inside. They climbed trees and lampposts and stop signs. They stood on parked cars. The roof of a Cadillac collapsed under some of them. Wow, it's a lot of people trying to get in that funeral. The church throbbed with the sounds of singing. The songs were not sad, but they were a terrible sadness in them anyway. Men and women and children wept. The mules stood almost motionless. They flicked only their ears as the coffin was carried from the church and placed in the cart. At the command, Belle and Ada began pulling. The cart was not heavy. The coffin was not heavy. The man inside it was not heavy. His great spirit had been the heaviest part of him. It could not be kept in a coffin. Wow, wow, that's deep, so deep. The cart rolled through the streets of Atlanta, past the Georgia State Capitol. Sometimes the crowds sang as it passed. We shall overcome, they promised. Sometimes they stood in a holy silence, and the only sound was the rumble of wooden wheels. Men walked in front, holding the reins of the mules. The widow walked behind, her grief hidden by her veil. That was Miss Coretta Scott King, the widow. At Morehouse College, the mules obeyed the command to stop. The coffin was taken into the college quadrangle for the second service. Outside the college, another crowd pressed forward. Wow, look at the people. Bells pealed. More people sang. The second service ended. The coffin was carried out and placed in a hearse for the drive to the cemetery. Is it over? Someone asked. It will never be over, replied another. What he stands for lives on. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. Belle and Ada were taken back to the farm. For them, it was over. The simple wooden cart was returned to Cook's Antiques and Stuff. It had only been borrowed. Now there were many offers to buy it. In the end, it was sold to the King family and placed in the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site. People walk around the cart now. They lean across the velvet rope that separates it from the crowd. They stare. Men take off their hats. This is the humble cart, not so long ago, carried greatness. And that is the end of the cart that carried Bunting. I hope you enjoyed the story and learned something new just like I did.